In 2018, Neil Diamond was the unstoppable voice behind 130 million records and the anthem that united stadiums. Within weeks, Parkinson's disease forced him to cancel the world tour he had dreamed about his whole life. $20 million gone, his career ended overnight. But what this disease did to Neil Diamond goes deeper than ticket sales or lost applause. How does a man who defined himself on stage survive when the music is suddenly out of reach? To understand what was truly lost, we have to go back to the moment everything changed. Neil Diamond stood alone in American music, a voice recognized in every corner of the world, a performer whose concerts felt more like celebrations than shows. Over 5 decades, he sold more than 130 million records and released 38 studio albums, earning his place in both the Songwriters Hall of Fame and the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. But numbers only hint at the force he brought to the stage. Night after night, Diamond would command stadiums packed with tens of thousands, leading them with sweeping gestures, a single pointed finger, or the slow drop to one knee during a ballad. He moved constantly, never content to let a song carry itself. His energy set the pace, his presence filled every inch of the arena. The 1972 Hot August Night concert captured him at his prime, running across the stage, guitar slung low, sweat flying as he played for nearly 3 hours without pause. Even as years passed, he refused to slow down. In the 1970s and the 1980s, he performed more than 100 shows a year, a schedule that would wear out men half his age. Every performance was meticulously prepared. He arrived hours early, walking the stage, checking the sound, rehearsing until every detail felt right. The guitar in his hands became an extension of himself, each chord struck with precision born from decades of practice. For more than 50 years, Neil Diamond was the master of his craft, shaping every note, every moment, with total control and confidence. That was the world he built, and the world he would soon be forced to leave behind. The 50th anniversary world tour was built to be a victory lap. More than 50 dates across continents, millions of dollars in advance ticket sales, and stadiums packed with fans eager to celebrate 5 decades of music. In 2017, Neil Diamond took the stage in city after city, his energy undiminished, his voice carrying through arenas where every seat was filled. Critics marveled at the stamina of a man in his mid-70s, still commanding crowds for nearly 3 hours at a time. At the end of that year, he had already completed 26 shows, each night a testament to his relentless drive and devotion to his audience. But behind the scenes, something had changed. Friends and crew noticed the subtle shifts first. Movements that seemed a little stiffer, hands that lingered over the guitar just a moment longer, gestures less fluid than before. To everyone else, he was the same Neil Diamond, leading 12,500 voices in Perth through the chorus of Sweet Caroline on what would become his final tour stop. He brushed off the tremors and fatigue as the price of pushing himself, blaming age and exhaustion. The crowds never saw the effort it took to keep the show going. The tour rolled on, and so did Diamond, determined not to let anything slow him down, at least not yet. January 2018. The final notes of the tour had barely faded when Neil Diamond walked into Cedars-Sinai Medical Center in Los Angeles. The news he received there would end his life on stage in a single blow. Parkinson's disease, progressive, incurable, relentless. For a man who lived through movement, who trusted his hands and voice to carry him through every night, it was more than a diagnosis. It was a sentence. Within days, the decision was made. Doctors warned him that continuing to perform could mean dangerous falls, public humiliation, and a rapid decline. 24 shows remained on his 50th anniversary tour, each one sold out, each one a promise to fans he would never break. But this time, he had no choice. On January 22, 2018, just 2 days before his 77th birthday, Neil Diamond issued the statement himself. It is with great reluctance and disappointment that I announce my retirement from concert touring. I have been so honored to bring my shows to the public for the past 50 years. My sincerest apologies to everyone who purchased tickets and were planning to come to the upcoming shows. The fallout was immediate. Nearly $20 million in ticket refunds were processed overnight. Fans were stunned. Promoters scrambled. For Neil, the loss was deeper than numbers. He later described it as, like dying while still alive. The stage was my home for 50 years. being exiled from my own life. In a matter of days, the world he had built was gone, and the curtain fell not with applause, but with silence. Parkinson's disease does not arrive as a single blow. It dismantles a life piece by piece, often starting with the smallest betrayals. For Neil Diamond, the first sign was a tremor in his right hand, a subtle shaking that made holding a guitar pick unpredictable. What began as a nuisance soon became a daily struggle. Bradykinesia set in, slowing his movements and making once effortless gestures feel heavy, almost foreign. Muscle rigidity tightened his fingers, turning familiar chords into obstacles. Even handwriting shrank and cramped, a condition called micrographia, making signatures and notes nearly illegible. The voice that once soared over stadiums grew quieter, a symptom called hypophonia. Nearly 9 out of 10 people with Parkinson's lose vocal strength, and Neil was no exception. His speech softened, his singing range narrowed, and the power that once filled arenas faded to a strained whisper. In a 2019 interview, he tried to play guitar for the camera. His frustration was plain. He said, "My hands don't remember what my brain knows." The disconnect between mind and body became impossible to ignore. Each symptom chipped away at the skills that had defined him, leaving the performer adrift in a body he could no longer command. Every morning in Colorado begins with a slow reckoning. Neil Diamond wakes to a body that will not cooperate, the tremors in his hands a constant reminder of what has been lost. The house has become a kind of fortress against the disease. Handrails line the halls, floors are covered with non-slip mats, and every room is arranged for safety. His wife Katie McNeil is more than a companion, she is his anchor. She manages his medications, carbidopa to chase away the stiffness, MAOB inhibitors to stretch out the good hours, and she times each dose to keep him stable. But Parkinson's is unpredictable. Some days the medicine works, and Neil can shuffle to the piano or walk the garden path with his cane. Other days he is stranded by fatigue or frozen by muscles that refuse to move. The emotional weight is just as heavy. Nearly half of all people with Parkinson's will face clinical depression, and Neil is no exception. He has said, "I don't know who I am if I'm not performing. Every morning I forget for a split second, then remember, I'll never perform again, and I die a little." Katie's routine is built around his needs, helping him dress, guiding him through therapy exercises, and staying close during long, quiet afternoons. Family visits bring brief relief, but the hours between are filled with reminders of what has been taken. Identity, independence, and the rhythm of a life once defined by music are now filtered through the reality of disease. December 2022 brought a moment few believe possible. On opening night of A Beautiful Noise, the Broadway musical built from his own songs, Neil Diamond arrived in a wheelchair, greeted by a theater packed with fans and friends. The disease had taken so much, but not his presence. As the first notes of Sweet Caroline rang out, the crowd rose in a single voice, filling the hall with the anthem he had given the world. Neil joined in, conducting with trembling hands, tears streaming down his face. The show would go on to earn 10 Tony nominations, its success a testament to the music that outlived the performer's body. Creativity still finds its way through the cracks. On good days, Neil records new melodies into his phone, shaping lyrics when his hands allow. He has given millions to Parkinson's research, quietly funding the search for a cure he knows will not come in time for himself. For all that has been lost, he remains a creator at heart. In his own words, "Parkinson's is taking my body piece by piece, but it hasn't taken my soul. I still sing, because when I do, everything inside me still works together. I used to chase the world. Now I let it come to me. There's no regret, only peace." Every year, 60,000 Americans are diagnosed with Parkinson's, each forced to surrender parts of themselves they never thought they would lose. Neil Diamond's struggle reminds us, legacy is built not by what disease takes, but by what endures. The music plays on, even as the voice fades.